In 1985, Michael Jackson paid $47.5 million to buy the Beatles' songs. Not a song, not an album, every song. Around 250 Beatles tunes all at once. And the man he outbid for them? Paul McCartney, the guy who actually wrote half of them. Here's the part that hurts. Paul is the one who taught Michael how to do it. This is the story of the most expensive lesson a friend ever gave away. So how does a guy buy his best friend's life's work and have it be totally legal? And no, I'm not exaggerating the price. Here's the actual deal. $47.5 million. In writing, rewind to the early 80s. Two of the biggest stars on earth become actual friends. Michael Jackson is fresh off Thriller, the best-selling album ever made. Paul McCartney is, well, a Beatle, the most successful songwriter who's ever lived. They cut 2 duets together. The Girl Is Mine, then Say, 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 both massive hits. And while they're recording, Michael actually moves in with Paul and Linda for a bit. So one night after dinner, Paul wants to show his young friend something. He pulls out a thick leather book and drops it on the table. Inside, every publishing right Paul owns. Every song he controls, not just his own. Other people's songs, too. Songs he didn't write a note of, but owns. And here's the lesson he hands Michael, totally for free. The real money in music isn't being a singer. It's owning the songs. Singers come and go. The songs just sit there, quietly making money for whoever holds them. Let me translate, because this is the whole video. There's 2 things you can own in a song. The recording, the actual voice you hear, and the publishing, the words, and the melody underneath. Own the publishing, and every single time anyone uses that song, anywhere, you get paid. Radio plays it, you get paid. Movie wants it, you get paid. A wedding band covers it, paid. The singer does the work once, the publisher gets paid forever. That's the trick. You didn't write it, you didn't sing it, you just own the rug everyone else is standing on. And Paul, sitting at that table, says he made about $40 million last year doing exactly that. $40 million. Off songs other people wrote. Get this. That's the part that lit Michael up. And right there, half joking, Michael says it. One of these days, I'm going to buy your songs. Paul laughs. Great, good joke. He thinks it's a joke. It was not a joke. Because Michael took that lesson dead literally. He hires a sharp music lawyer named John Branca. And he gives him one job. Buy publishing. Whenever a catalog of songs comes up for sale, Michael wants a look. So Michael goes on a quiet little shopping spree. He buys up Sly and the Family Stones catalog. He grabs Dion songs. He grabs the rights to Great Balls of Fire. Bit by bit, he's building a vault. And honestly, it's working. The kid who sang the songs is now quietly buying them. Then in 1984, Branca brings him the big one. A catalog called ATV Music is going up for sale. And it is enormous. Around 4,000 songs in one bundle. But it's what's hiding inside that matters. Because tucked inside ATV is something called Northern Songs. And Northern Songs is the publishing for around 250 Beatles tracks. We're talking Yesterday, Let It Be, Hey Jude. The actual crown jewels, the most covered, most beloved, most valuable songs in the history of recorded music. All in one folder. So, how did the Beatles lose control of their own songs in the first place? Quick detour. Back in the 60s, 2 broke young songwriters signed a publishing deal they didn't fully understand. Standard for the time. The label and the managers took the ownership. The boys got a slice. By the time they realized what they'd given up, the songs were a company you could buy. And in 1984, that company hit the open market. The most famous songs on earth, up for grabs. Now, here's where it gets uncomfortable. Because Branca does the decent thing first. He goes to Paul McCartney and Yoko Ono and basically says, these are your songs. You should buy them. They could have bought back the Beatles catalog together. Right then. First in line. But Paul looks at the price and says it's too rich for him. Out of his range. And reportedly the 2 of them couldn't agree to do it together either. So they pass. Think about that. The actual writers had the first shot at their own songs. And they walked away. So the door opens for everyone else. And everyone else shows up. Other buyers circle. The bidding opens at around $30 million. And every time a rival bids, Branca calls Michael. And every time Michael says the same thing. Raise it. Higher. Raise it. Higher again. He will not lose this. 30 million, 40, 45. The rivals start dropping out one by one. This is a kid bidding tens of millions on a stack of paper. And he doesn't blink. And on August 14th, 1985, the gavel comes down. Michael Jackson wins ATV Music for $47.5 million. He didn't just buy a catalog. He outbid Paul McCartney for Paul McCartney's own songs. The student just beat the teacher with the exact lesson the teacher taught him. Oh, and one weirdly specific detail. One Beatles song was not in the deal. Penny Lane. Reportedly, the previous owner had gifted it to his teenage daughter, so she owned one Beatles song, and Michael Jackson owned all the rest. So now Michael owns it. Around 200 Beatles songs, his. And here's where the lesson curdles into something else, because owning the songs means renting them out. In 1987, a company comes knocking. They want a Beatles song for a commercial. The company says Nike. The song is Revolution, and the deal is reportedly worth $500,000. For the first time ever, an original Beatles recording is used to sell a product. A song literally about overthrowing the system, selling running shoes. You can't make it up. And the surviving Beatles? They are furious. They sue. Here's the thing that stings. They couldn't really stop it because they didn't own the song anymore. George Harrison puts it perfectly. He warns that if this stands, it opens the floodgates. Every Beatles song, he says, will end up advertising, and I'm quoting, women's underwear and sausages. And here's the receipt. This actually happened. It actually went to court, and it made headlines. Nike eventually pulls the ad. The lawsuit settles quietly on secret terms. But the damage is done. The Beatles just watched a stranger rent out their revolution, and honestly, Michael wasn't even being reckless. He was just doing exactly what the lesson said. Own the song, rent it out, collect. That's the whole game, played to perfection. And one of them is watching it more closely than the rest. The one who taught Michael the trick. Because Paul isn't just any Beatle here. Paul wrote a lot of these songs. And every time Michael rents one out, Paul watches money flow from his own music into his friend's pocket. It was always going to come to a head. And it did. So Paul does the obvious thing. He writes to his friend and asks for a raise. Not a discount. Not the songs back. Just a slightly better cut on the songs he himself wrote. His pitch is basically, Michael, after 30 years, don't you think I could get a raise? And Michael's answer is 4 words long. 4 words that end a friendship. Oh, Paul, that's just business. That's just business. From the friend he taught the business to. And Paul's reaction is the line that says it all. He says it's a bit dodgy to be someone's friend and then buy the rug they're standing on. The rug he's standing on. His own song, sold out from under his feet. And here's the real receipt for how deep it cut. Years later, Paul says it plainly. He says Michael won't answer his letters, that they don't really talk anymore. 2 friends, 2 of the most famous men alive, done, over a list of songs. They duetted on #1 records. Now they couldn't be in the same room, and look, Michael wasn't wrong that it was legal. It absolutely was. That's exactly what makes it sting. He didn't steal anything. He just used the lesson better than the teacher ever did. The man who showed him the leather book got beaten by the leather book. So was it worth it? For a wrecked friendship, what did Michael actually get? Let's add it up. Because the number is genuinely insane. Start with the bet. In 1985, Michael spends $47.5 million. A lot of money. But that song vault he bought, it just keeps printing. Because here's the thing about the most famous songs ever written. People never stop wanting them. Every cover, every movie, every ad, every radio play. For the most beloved songs ever written. By the mid-90s, Michael's deep in debt and needs cash, so he plays the catalog like a card. In 1995, he merges ATV with Sony's publishing arm. They become Sony ATV. And for selling Sony half of it, Michael reportedly pulls in around $100 million. Stop right there. And he's already made back more than double his bet. And he still owns half. He's still collecting on Beatles songs for years. The bet that cost a friendship just keeps paying. And then the real number lands. Years after Michael dies, in 2016, his estate makes the final move. They sell that last 50% stake back to Sony for about $750 million. And here's the receipt, straight from the filings. This one is on the record. So let's do the math on a dinner table lesson. The bet, $47.5 million. The 1995 cash out, around $100 million. The final estate sale, about $750. A $47 million bet on a friend's advice turned into the better part of $1 billion. one of the most lucrative deals in the entire history of music. From one leather book at one dinner. Paul handed Michael the key. Michael used it to buy the whole building. And he never had to write a single one of those songs to own them. So what do we actually do with this one? Because there's no real villain here. That's what makes it land. Think about it. Paul gave away the smartest advice of his life to the one person who'd use it against him. And Michael did nothing illegal. He just believed his friend, and then he believed him harder. And maybe that's the quiet, scary lesson under all of it. The most dangerous thing you can give away isn't your money. It's the secret of how you make it. Paul taught the best student he ever had. And it cost him the Beatles songs and a friend. That one's filed under the most expensive favor in music history. Subscribe. There's always another one in the archive.